After leaving my house at 2 o'clock in the afternoon to catch a train to Stansted Airport, I then met my friends Natalie and Emily there, and we caught a plane together with Carl from Avionaut to Katowice in Poland. And from there we got a taxi that took us to Czestochowa, and we stayed here at the beautiful Carvala Boutique Apartments. And this is going to be my room for the next 3 nights. So there's the bed, and on the bed there is a gift from Avionaut, a lovely fleece with an embroidered logo. On the table, a little goodie bag with some chocolates and vouchers to the massage at a spa tomorrow that we're going to go to. And what's very unusual, never had this before, there's a kitchen in the hotel room. So I've come here this week to an event organised by Avionaut for their UK retailers, and we're in Czestochowa in Poland. I'm probably saying that wrong, and I've got a little bit of my Dutch accent mixed in there because I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it any other way. So Czestochowa, that's what I'm calling it. So we've got quite a fun, action-packed week ahead. It's only actually 2 days. Tomorrow we're going to do a spa morning where we're going to go for a massage. And then in the afternoon, there's going to be a presentation by Avionaut where they're going to be showing us some of their new products. And then the next day, in the morning, I think we're going to visit Avionaut's factory to see where the car seats are made. And then after that, we're going to be visiting their crash test facility, which will be really interesting. And then I'm not quite sure what's happening tomorrow afternoon, but then in the evening, or not tomorrow, the next day. Anyway, you know what I mean. And it's all a bit confusing. There's a lot to pack in just a few days. So then in the evening, we're going to go to a place where we're going to do a cookery class, basically cooking our own dinner and then all eating it together. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be a very fun week. After breakfast on the first morning, Avionaut treated us to a massage, and the massage place was about a 10 or so minute walk from the hotel. So on the walk there, I took a few pictures because Czestochowa is a really lovely city. So I took a few pictures on the way, and then we arrived at the massage place, which actually turned out not to be very big. So there were 12 of us in our group, and they didn't have enough room to massage all of us at the same time. So it turned out that we had to wait in this small room where while one group was being massaged, the others were just left to have a drink and a chat and everything. They offered us Prosecco. I don't drink anyway, but even if I did, I think 10 o'clock in the morning, it was probably a little bit early to have a Prosecco, but they also had some strawberry juice or something. And so yeah, we just all were given a towel to, got undressed, wrapped ourselves in a towel, and we just sat and chatted. And it was actually quite nice because we don't all know each other all that well because all of us are spread out all over the UK. So it was a nice opportunity just to have a chat and get to know each other a bit better. And then it was the turn for me to have a massage. And oh my God, I'm not used to having massages. I've only had 1 or 2 over the years, and it was painful. Maybe if you have them more often, it's okay. But to me, it was like, oh, she'd sort of dug down quite deep, like in my legs and my neck and my shoulders. But it was really, really lovely. But all of us came out of there thinking, oh my God, what just happened to us? But yeah, I guess if you're not used to having a massage, then it's a bit of an experience, but it was really, really lovely. It also included couldn't tell you what because I had my eyes closed the whole time, but it was like a wet, lotiony kind of towel mask thing that went on our faces, and then they sort of massaged our head and our shoulders while we had this oily thing on our face. So yeah, altogether really, really lovely. And then we walked back to the hotel, had lunch, and then it was time for the presentation. We were shown the new Stardust car seat. This Isofix seat rear faces up to 125 centimetres or 21 kilos, whichever comes first. The rear facing only version has passed the Swedish Plus test up to 105 centimetres. There will also be a 360 version that can turn into a high back booster for children up to 150 centimetres. We took the car seat outside to try it in an Audi A5, and as you can see, there is plenty of space for a tall adult in the front seat. One of the nice things about the Stardust is that instead of having separate buttons to operate the recline and the swivel function, this one has an all-in-one lever located at the bottom of the seat between where the child's legs would be. So you squeeze one lever and you can recline the seat as well as turn it all at the same time. This is Casper from Avionaut in his own car, an Audi A5, just to show how much legroom he's got. And he's actually 1.83 meters tall, so that's just over 6 foot. And in this picture here, we've got the car seat in forward-facing high-back booster mode, which can be used for children up to 150 centimetres. After a short break for something to eat, it was the Sirius's turn. The Sirius is Avionaut's new pram. I'd already seen it at the Harrogate trade show about 6 months ago. I thought it was great then, and seeing it again, I still think it's brilliant. Not only does it come with a carry cot and a separate seat unit, as well as a backpack, rain cover and car seat adapters, it is also a really strong, well-made pram with great features. It has a 22 kilo weight limit, which is amazing because an average 3-year-old only weighs 15 kilos. 22 is on average probably about 5-6 years old, and a child of that age wouldn't be in a pram anymore, but it just shows how strong it is. The suspension is absolutely amazing. And it obviously is compatible with both of Avionaut's infant carriers, the Pixel and the Cosmo. The car seat in these two pictures is the Avionaut Cosmo. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the pram here. I will do a separate video on it very soon. And later on in the evening, we all went out for dinner together to, I think it was an Italian restaurant. I certainly had pasta, and then we had this amazing cake for dessert. I took a few pictures of the side of this building just because I thought the mural was so amazing. But my friend Marta was sitting next to me on the coach when I took this picture, and she actually explained the name to me. So that's why I've zoomed in really closely, and you can see the name Czestochowa, and Chova is only half visible. Now when you look it up on Wikipedia, Czestochowa actually means Czestov's place. The place of Czestov. It doesn't say who that is. But Marta said to me it's actually also a play on words, because Czesto means often and Chova means hidden. And that's why in this image you can see the full word Czesto but only half of Chova. So I thought that was quite interesting. We saw this again on these bikes and on a few more signs and buildings throughout the city. I always like taking pictures of buildings when I visit new places, and I thought that the way that these blocks of flats had been painted was really cool. And then we arrived at Avionaut's warehouse and factory, where we were all given high-vis vests and hard hats to wear before we were taken on a little tour around the factory. We weren't allowed to take many pictures, but the boss did let us take a few. And I absolutely loved these embroidery machines with their spools of cotton in instantly recognisable colours. I literally want a job in this factory. I could look at these machines all day. A few rolls of fabric. Again, so familiar. It's so funny to see the colours of the car seats we know so well before they're actually car seats. And then we were allowed to take a few pictures of this. Now, being more of a fabric and sewing kind of person, I couldn't tell you exactly what was going on here, but it was something to do with metal and welding. I'm not sure exactly what was being made inside this machine, but there was another one that we weren't allowed to film where we actually saw black plastic being injected into a mould, which then produced this perfectly formed Cosmo infant carrier, and it was amazing just to see them being made right there before our eyes. After our visit to the factory, we got back on the coach to be taken to Avionaut's crash test facility nearby. The Stardust car seat was already installed on the rig with a Q6 dummy strapped into it. The Q6 weighs just under 23 kilos and is 114 centimetres tall. And the test is conducted at 48.5 kilometers per hour, which is just over 30 miles per hour. And again, we were only allowed to take pictures, but we couldn't actually film the test itself. It was so interesting to see a crash test being conducted. It was literally over in a fraction of a second, and the seat obviously passed with flying colours. You can see that the ISOFIX arms are still attached, that they're completely undamaged, and here you can see the support leg. It's not bent in any way, nothing has happened to it. Just going up to the bottom of the base here, you can see everything is undamaged. But if you look at the base closely, you do see a little bit of separation in the plastic, and although the seat didn't fail the test, this does show why seats need to be replaced after a crash. The harness looks a little bit loose here on the dummy, and this was done deliberately to allow for user error. The test is operated by computer here behind the screen, and this is also where the data is recorded. And I obviously couldn't leave before posing for a few pictures with the crash test dummies, and they are heavy. This is the Q6, which, as I said, weighs nearly 23 kilos, and the Q3 in the blue weighs 15 kilos. So the two of them together weigh about half as much as I do, and they were definitely not easy to carry. Going for a walk somewhere in deepest, darkest Poland. I'm not exactly sure where I am, but here we go. We're actually on our way to I'm not even sure what to call it. A restaurant, I guess, where we're going to be doing a cookery class and then eating it for dinner. I had a quick look on the map to see where it actually was because I was quite curious, and it's here in the south of Poland. After a short walk through the woods, we arrived in this big garden in this lady's summer house / kitchen for our cookery class. Nat? Yeah. Content, Nat. We have to make content, okay? Talk about the content. Emily, are you sure you're making content?
Yes.
Inside this beautiful kitchen, we learned to cook traditional Polish beetroot soup, savoury dumplings called pierogi, and oven-baked cheesecake. Mixing the cheese for the cheesecake. Marta and I couldn't resist the vanilla syrup. It smelled so amazing. And this was the owner's dog, and he was just wandering around in the kitchen, making sure that we were all doing it right. My first attempt at making pierogi, a little Polish speciality, a little dough filled with a savoury mixture. This is sauerkraut with mushroom, I think. And there was also over there a bowl of potato and bacon. And Nat's doing really well, aren't you, Nat?
No, I'm not.
How about you, Carl? How's it going?
Yeah. Look at them.
They're hungry.
No.
No, it's
Ile jest nas? Ich jest 10, bo Marta pojechała.
And for dessert, cheesecake with cherry and vodka sauce. This is a picture I took of the display unit in the hotel lift, which not only showed the date and time and the floor number, but also a slideshow of Avionaut pictures. So I took a photograph of each one to use in this video. Not really what I was expecting to find on my hotel room floor. So I'm just going to go and throw this little creature off the balcony. We have a few hours to kill before we get the bus back to the airport, so we've come for a walk down the city centre of Czestochowa. Remember what it's called. It's actually quite cold today, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to Avionaut. We've had an amazing week.